Good afternoon and welcome to FDN News. I'm Bree Santiago. Our top story tonight, we continue our coverage on the Ebola breakout in Africa and its impact on Huntington University. One of our students is currently serving just miles from the infected countries. I spoke with a student on the phone this week to find out the status of her safety. Senior Youth Ministry and Missions major Lindy Kushinikoff has spent the last 4 months working as an intern for Agape Gospel Mission in Ghana, Africa. According to calculations made by Oxford, Ghana is predicted to be infected by Ebola in early December. The study is based on the idea that Ebola is being spread through the animal kingdom and then to pedestrians. Because Ghana is only 200 miles from the infected countries, the researchers at Oxford say that it is not a matter of if the country will be infected, it's a matter of when. The head of nursing department, Dr. Margaret Winter, explained to us that with early detection, Ebola can be treated.
It's almost like the flu. In a way. Once you contact the flu, you need to have treatment to overcome the symptoms of what the flu is. And it's the same things. It really doesn't have an effect, usually long term on the body, except if it gets to the stages where you have the bleeding. And of course, if the body bleeds profusely, then you're going to die as a result.
The problem is that the countries infected with the disease do not have the medical resources to put a stop to the rising death rate. The question is, what does this mean for our fellow forester? Kushinikoff's advisor, Dr. Karen Jones, told me that it is not the university's responsibility to bring a student back from their prime location. The organization the student is working with ultimately decides if the environment is unsafe. I spoke with the student directly, and she told me that as of right now, the mission does not seem too concerned.
Yeah, my mentor and we have never talked about me leaving because of Ebola. I've talked with her family about Ebola and what's happening in other countries, and maybe if it comes to Ghana, but she's never shown any concern about me needing to leave because of Ebola.
Until Ebola is officially confirmed in Ghana, Kushinikoff plans to spend the remainder of the semester in the country. She plans to return to the States on December 12th. The first case of Ebola in the United States was confirmed on Tuesday night in Texas. If you work on campus, you've probably noticed reduced hours. The university says it's all part of a different budget strategy. Several departments have received budget cuts. In fact, many students have been left without jobs. But the school's president, Dr. Sherilyn Emberton, told us that despite the cuts, the university actually has a larger budget than previous years. This year, school leaders looked at each department's spending over the past 5 years and compared it to what they've been given. They then created new budgets for every department based on their findings.
Overall, our budget is actually higher. We're bringing in more revenue this year. So when you hear budget cuts with a new budget, that's always true. You've moved some money from here, some money from there, but you also will see some areas that really got additions to their budgets, and that was to try to move us forward in some areas.
Emberton says the university is doing its best to make sure that every department has what it needs. The DMA department has recently used its budget to purchase a drone. The unmanned aircraft is meant to broaden the film department's shooting opportunities, but it's a controversial piece of equipment. According to local pilot Jim Matson, drones are still considered unregulated and have been known to come within feet of colliding with aircrafts. We sent FDN reporter Jonathan Kane to get both sides of the story.
Drones have been a part of national and international news for quite some time now. Whether it be military drones or just remote-controlled toys, these robotic creations are becoming part of life as we know it. And the university has recently purchased one of its own. The Digital Media Arts Department owns the Parrot AR 2.0 drone and is looking forward to using it to capture specialized video footage.
Drones are everywhere. They're being used in all areas of film and media production, corporate media.
Though the drone is an exciting addition to the film program, the students and faculty understand that it will take time to effectively and safely put it to use.
I think it's going to come through training. It's going to come through just proof positive that they can be used effectively and safely.
The media students are excited about this new opportunity, but what about other students from different majors?
I don't think it's a big deal if the DMA department won't use it to violate privacy.
Personally, I think that'd be really cool. Like just walking along and you're just like, oh look, a helicopter, that's pretty cool, it's recording me.
Overall, students seem very open to this new addition, and the administration appears to be backing it up as well. We spoke to Dr. Emberton, and she made it very clear that she wants the best technology for all students here at HU. She also assured us that all security issues would be handled very carefully. However, there's another side to this issue that must be considered. Is this drone legal?
Air traffic control seems to have no knowledge of the whereabouts of drones. They're difficult for pilots to see.
We learned that though drones are currently legal for colleges to use, there is still quite a bit of uneasiness about having drones flying around. Due to the concern over this issue, Congress has mandated the FAA create regulations for drone usage.
The problem with the FAA is that they're historically very slow and they react instead of being proactive.
So though it appears the decision on this drone won't happen overnight, prepare yourself to see a little flying helicopter around campus in the future.
I'm Jonathan Kane, FDN News.
DMA Supervisor Nathan Hartman told us the university still has to jump a lot of legal hurdles before students can use the drone. The new restaurant in town, Mighty Dogs, has sparked some curiosity on campus. FDN spoke with the owner of the establishment to find out what brought the unique business to town. Lance Crittenden is one of 3 owners of Mighty Dogs. Crittenden worked his way up the ladder of the fast food industry and eventually decided he wanted to start his own restaurant. After an inspiring trip to Las Vegas, the Huntington native, along with his brother and sister-in-law, thought a hot dog shop was perfect for Huntington.
The inspiration for Mighty Dogs came from a visit to a restaurant while we were on vacation. The restaurant was in Las Vegas, and it's called Pink's, and they serve nothing but hot dogs. Their menu is, they have probably 80 to 100 hot dogs. We're hopefully to build to that. I don't want to necessarily copy everything they did, but they were the inspiration. They had the only hot dogs on their menu, and that's where I got the idea.
Crittenden tells us they plan to have a drive-thru open in the near future. This past weekend, nearly 100 students headed to the annual all-campus, off-campus retreat, better known as ACOC. Student Senate organized the event. It included lots of group games, worship, s'mores, and a campfire. This year's guest speaker was the new academic dean, Dr. Michael Wanis. Wanis led a Bible study based on the parable of the sower. ACOC's focus is to strengthen the HU community. Well, that's all we have for you in this installment of FDN News. Don't forget to check us out online at forresterdigital.net and follow us on Twitter at FDN_news. As always, thank you for joining us. Have a great weekend, and we will see you next week.